Hi guys, welcome to Geeks for Geeks. My name is Radhika and today we are going to talk about some coding conventions. Now, why are coding conventions important? So, first of all, it makes your code look good and it makes your code readable. Now, why do we want a code to be readable? Because, of course, we are not the only person who is going to work on a particular code. When we are in college, there are 2 to 3 people working in a team on a project, and that's it. But when you go to an organization and work on a real product, there will be several people working on same piece of code. So it's very important there to make your code really readable, right? People should not be investing their time or scratching their heads understanding what you have written, like what is the syntax, and should spend more time on the logic, right? And moreover, 70% of a software, the life cycle of a software, is in the maintenance phase. So there's a very famous quote that is, write code assuming that the person who will end up maintaining it will be a psychopath and who knows where you live. So as we're clear with why do we need this, let's get into the video. So number one is package naming convention. Now it is very obvious, as I say package, that means I'm talking about Java. So your package name should be all in small letters, and every word of a package should be separated by a dot. Okay, and like how should you name it? It should be the backwards of your domain name. Like for example, if it's www.geeksforgeeks.com, then your package name should be com.geeksforgeeks, right? Next is class naming convention. Now for classes, your words should be nouns and it should be in upper camel case notation. Now what is upper camel case notation? It should start with the every word should start with a capital letter, and it should be simple and descriptive. So, say for example, employees, E should be capital, student, S should be capital, and it should generally be one word, maximum 2 words. Like I said, company service, in that case the S of your service should be in capital letter. Next is interface naming convention. So interfaces should be adjectives like runnable, clonable, serializable, or comparable. Why is that? Because obviously interfaces are not concrete classes. They are just there to tell what should be done. So that's why they are adjectives. Now not all the interfaces have to be adjective. There can be noun as well, such as list or map, when they present a family of classes. So that's about interfaces. Next is method naming conventions. So now for methods, the words should be a verb, like it should be self-explanatory what the method is programmed to do. For example, you have written a function to compute the interest. So the name of your method should be compute interest, and it should be in lower camel case notation. Like your C should be in small letter and your interest I should be in capital letter. So in similar way, your function to find something in a dictionary should be named as find word, and the F should be in small letter and W should be in capital letter. And for example, some functions which are written to initialize your variables, then the name of that function should be initialize something, initialize anything, right? So this was about methods. Next is variable naming convention. So now with variables, it is a very common practice to give any random name to variables like xyz or abc. But that's not a good thing to do, because you yourself will get confused later that what is this method storing, sorry, variable storing. So the name of the variables should be meaningful. Like for example, you want to store the name of of a person, then the variable name should be first name and last name, and again we follow lower camel case notation. The F of your first name should be small and N should be in capital letter. Next is constant naming convention. Now there are a lot of situations in which you want a certain constant variable for your entire project. So how should you name that? For example, let's just take an example of a banking system, and you want a certain rate of interest for your entire project. Then the name of the variable can be rate of interest, all in capital letter, separated by underscore. Okay, now next, if you have some boolean variables, for example, if you have a method which will tell you if your list is empty or not, then you should use a prefix is for your method, and your method name can be is empty, right? And there can be something like is open, is found. It's not only important to use is, you can also use has, like has license, has permission, or you can also use should. The method can be should abort, right? So these are some practices that you can follow to write good understandable code. So this was all about the naming conventions. Next, let's move to exception handling best practices. So first of all, let's talk about the naming convention. It's very simple. The name of the exception should end with the word exception. For example, if you've noticed exceptions like class not found exception, SQL exception, or index out of bound exception, they all end with word exception, and also they follow upper camel case notation. That is, every word first letter should be in capital letter, right? Next, about writing exceptions. So first and foremost thing, we should clean all the resources in finally block. Now what do I mean by cleaning all the resources? So for example, you have opened a connection with a database, right, in your try block. Now what happens is, there's this practice I've noticed a lot of time, that people close that connection in try block. But what if there's some exception occurred in your try block, and then your code will jump to catch block, and it will never come to that code where you have closed your connection, like that becomes your unreachable code. So it's very important that you close all your connections, not in try block, not in catch block, but in finally block. I hope you are aware what a finally block is. So you should always close all your resources in finally block. Also, if not, there is something called enhanced try block statement. So here you can start your connections, or establish connections in your try statement itself as shown, okay? So this will automatically close your connection after the try statements are done. Next is, you should always throw specific exceptions. Like for example, if your code throws arithmetic expression, then you should catch arithmetic expression only, or you should specify throws arithmetic exception and not just exception. Also, you should catch the most specific exceptions first and then the generic exceptions. For example, if you have written a code which can throw number exception, and in catch block you first write exception and then you handle a number exception, then your number exception will be an unreachable code, because it will always get caught in the exception catch block, right? So it's important that you write in this order only, that is the most specific one first and then the generic one. Third point is that you should always throw exceptions with descriptive messages. That makes it very easy to understand where your program has got stuck and what exactly the problem it has encountered. That makes it very easy and fast to debug your method, and that makes your code really really efficient. So next I have for you some extra good to practice things, so that your code becomes really good, it looks really good, and it becomes very easy for someone to understand what you have written, right? So first thing is, you should always write comments. So if you give a comment before any block of code, it will be very easy to understand what that block of code is doing. Now we don't have to write comments for very obvious things, like for example, you are giving a loop for printing an array. This is just an example, so you don't have to write there that this loop prints array, because that is very obvious. You should be very specific, very like put comments where it is necessary, okay, or where it will be helpful, it will be actually helpful. Next is, you should always indent your program, like there should be proper indentation that makes your code look really pretty, and also it becomes very very easy to understand and read the code. And the third one is, avoid deep nesting. For example, there's an if block and there's an if block inside it, and there's again an if block inside that if, so it becomes very very difficult to understand the entire structure and what it's doing, right? So you should avoid doing that. I hope you enjoyed this video and this was helpful for you. Do let us know in the comment section below if there are any more conventions that you know about. Also, let me know what are the topics you want me to make my next videos on, and I will definitely take that into consideration. I will be back with another video very soon. Till then, bye bye. Happy learning.